And welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. One of the hallmarks of people who are telling the truth, in case you were wondering how to tell the difference, is that people who are telling the truth are calm. Liars behave differently. Liars are touchy, sometimes to the point of hysteria. They're hiding something, that's the whole point of lying, and they're worried you're going to find out what it is. Liars are fragile because over time, lying makes you weak and afraid. It has the same effect on countries, by the way. We're living through one of those clarifying moments, which actually we're thankful for, where we're learning exactly who the liars are. And in this case, the sociopaths turned out to be both Democrats and Republicans. Now, you sometimes hear people say that the whole partisan system is an illusion, and that underneath the manufactured debates, the leaders on both sides are in fact secretly united in a common love of money and power, and the deception required to get them. And honestly, we could never really bring ourselves to believe that. It's just too dark. But now we do believe it because we have seen it.
I tweeted out, I don't know if you saw this, that I was going to make an announcement on your show today. And so I set up an international consortium based in London. I can't tell you all the details yet, but we're trying to put together something like an alternative vision of the future, say an alternative to that kind of apocalyptic narrative that's being put forward, at least implicitly, by organizations like the WEF, you know. And it's more like something like, well, we want to ask people 6 key questions. Okay, so how do we get energy and resources at the lowest possible cost, as rapidly as possible, to the largest number of people around the world? But you don't get to impose your utopian vision in the service of your narcissism on the poor. We're going to try to make the poor rich. Can I try to alleviate absolute poverty? Pro-human view. On environmental stewardship front, that's the next question. What are the major problems that are confronting us? Sophisticated, multidimensional view of that. How do we prioritize our attempts to establish our states and our international relationships properly so that we prioritize human well-being, you know, in harmony with nature to the degree that's possible, but human-focused and not predicated on the idea that there are too many mouths on the planet to feed and that you're evil if you just think about having children. None of the people involved in this consortium so far are very thrilled with global corporate fascist government media and corporation collusion. You know, and we're seeing this at the high end. It's like a Tower of Babel, is that the powerful players in the world are increasingly collaborating to impose a top-down vision of the future on everyone. So that's the third question. This is why I like people like Russell Brand and also you, to some degree, politically. That regulatory capture that occurs when corporate entities and media entities and governmental entities are all in bed together, like the FDA and the CDC and so forth and so on, without end. So that's the third question. The fourth question is, what do we put forward as a vision on the family policy front to facilitate the, what would you call it, the encouragement and the maintenance of long-term monogamous couples who are child-centered, and to make increasing the birth rate part of that policy, to put policies in place that would support long-term stable monogamous families, 2-parent families, and child-centered. You know, because in the West, because we're very immature, we think that the purpose of a marriage is the happiness of the people who are involved in the marriage, the husband and the wife. And that's just not the purpose of marriage at all. The purpose is long-term facilitation of their psychological and spiritual development and the establishment of an environment that's beneficial to children. That's a responsible way of thinking about it.
The things they're telling you to believe are not necessarily for your benefit. The people who make the rules don't make the rules for the benefit of everybody. They make the rules for the benefit of the people who make the rules.
To me, it was the only logical choice in the end. There was a time when I was atheistic. And the reason I am now so absolutely certain that God is real is because I've seen evil. I've seen Shaitan. I've seen it. When you see enough evil, you realize that there must be an equal and opposite force. And there are people out there in the world today doing the work of the devil, genuine demons, who are trying to destroy the baseline morality that's inside of all of us. We're all born with some kind of morality, and they're trying to destroy it. But it's truly amazing. I think when you have negative experiences, and I'm talking about truly negative experiences, I've had a few where you come close to losing your life, or you meet other people who come close to losing their lives. Nobody's an atheist at the end, my friend. If you remove God from society completely, if you click your fingers and he's gone, if you completely remove religion from earth, you'll see the devil appear pretty quickly. You'll see mass breakdown of society.
Yeah.
You'll see crime. You'll see rape. You'll see murder. You'll see theft. And then you'll understand that God isn't real.
I like talking to people, you know? I mean, if I want to talk to someone, I want to have on my show. Like I told you, I'm gonna have Ted Nugent on my show. That's probably gonna be the most pushback other than Alex Jones of anybody that I've ever had. But I don't think it's my job to not talk to people that I want to talk to. I think it's my job to, even if if I wanted, I mean, there's gotta be some horrible people out there that I would never want to talk to. That I just don't like the way they speak. I don't like what they stand for, and maybe Ted's one of them. I don't know. I have to sit down and talk to him. But as long as I feel that I'm interested in having a conversation with that person, I'll air it. And you know, you can like it or you don't like it, but there's plenty of people that like it, so I don't care. I just think it's very, very frustrating for people, and it's not natural. And I think that's one of the reasons why people yearn for uncensored conversation.
This is why I like people like Russell Brand.
The things you couldn't say online 2 or 3 years ago, now there's evidence for that. In fact, I've bought documentation in case the conversation went in this direction, Joe. In my new position as a legitimate investigative journalist, I've got actual papers that I can show you from conspiracy to fact.
Well, the lab leak theory, and that's the best one. The lab leak theory was openly considered racist,
Yeah.
and you would be mocked.
For all the things that I've done, I'm most renowned for what I didn't do. Went to South Africa. Everyone said I was running away from the money. That is not true. In fact, I still want that money. The idea that I wanted to just share with you guys is the idea that sometimes you do what you think is best. Whether anybody understands it or not. I heard a story about my father where someone told me he used to do statistics for a company in DC. The company he did statistics for started doing business with the South African government, so he quit his job. It's caused a lot of problems between him and his wife. It's hard for a man when he can't provide for his family the way he wants to, and he suffered through it. And a generation later, when I had my crisis of conscience, I was able to go to a free South Africa and get away from the heat. This idea that what you do in your lifetime informs the generations that comes after you is something I keep thinking about, something that is so much bigger than just ourselves. And today I'm standing in front of you guys, and I know you guys are like, oh, I know you're bored. But I see family of mine in the front row some who I've never met, and I just realize how all of us are connected. That my great-grandfather built something more substantial than buildings. He built a community, and he built, more importantly than a community, he built a way, you know, so I'm very grateful.
So there's no sort of behind-the-scenes manipulation, either algorithmically or manually.
But last week when we spoke, Elon, I asked